Welcome to your introduction to 5th grade, Unit 2, Early American Civilizations in CKLA. We know that this is likely your first time teaching this unit, so this learning module is designed to help you become more familiar with the key content in the Early American Civilizations unit. Our goal is to ensure that you are well prepared to plan and ultimately teach your students. By the end of this module, you will be able to describe why this unit is important and how it connects to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Recognize how this unit fits into the overall sequence of learning for students. Determine what students will need to know and be able to do by the end of the unit. At the conclusion of this learning module, we will also give you a chance to reflect on how what you have learned about this unit will influence your planning moving forward. During this module, you will want to have the participant notebook available so that you can record your thoughts and responses. You can find your participant notebook in the same place you access this recording via Schoology. We recommend that you print this document so that you can jot down notes during this learning module. You will also want to be able to reference your teacher guide and activity book for Unit 2. Know that the images in this recording are meant to be supportive of your experience, but you can always reference your print materials if that is easier or more helpful for you. To that end, we'll call out specific page numbers throughout this module. Feel free to pause this module now to make sure you have your materials. Let's begin by grounding ourselves in the importance of what students will learn in this unit. The big idea of this unit is that large, complex civilizations, including those of the Maya, Aztec, and Inca, developed in the Americas before the arrival of Europeans. This unit orients students to the geography, climate, flora, and fauna of the Americas. It also presents an overall history and timeline highlighting the rise and fall of the Maya, Aztec, and Inca civilizations. In addition, the unit describes innovations and discoveries of the Maya, Aztec, and Inca, and features myths from these ancient civilizations. By immersing themselves in this unit, students will increase vocabulary, build comprehension skills, understand that large, complex civilizations developed in the Americas before the arrival of the Europeans. Let's now turn to how this unit connects to diversity, equity, and inclusion. As we just mentioned, this unit helps students understand that large, complex civilizations developed in the Americas before the arrival of Europeans. As students learn about the geography, climate, flora, and fauna of the Americas, they will see how things influence pre-Columbian civilizations. They acquire an overall history and timeline of the rise and fall of the Maya, Aztec, and Inca civilizations. Students discover innovations and discoveries of the Maya, Aztec, and Inca, and they describe traits those civilizations shared and ones that made them unique from each other. As they uncover the reasons for these civilizations' decline, students also grapple with the detrimental effects of European exploration in the Americas. An ongoing DEI question you can ask throughout the unit is, how did European exploration contribute to the decline of pre-Columbian empires? To explore more about how the Early American Civilizations unit brings diversity, equity, and inclusion to life for students, check out our DEI and social justice guides. These can be found on the daily instruction page under Planning Documents. Directions for accessing these guides can also be found in your participant notebook. Now it's your turn. In your own words, describe why this unit is important and how it connects to diversity. Feel free to record your thoughts in your participant notebook or discuss with your colleagues if you are with others. Pause this recording now to do so. Now, let's orient to some specifics within this unit. This unit contains 15 daily lessons. Each entire lesson will require a total of 90 minutes. This unit also includes 4 pausing point days that may be used for differentiation of instruction. The unit assessment occurs at the end of this unit, and there is 1 day set aside for that. We anticipate that this unit should take approximately 19 days. Here you can see the student reader used throughout the unit. The reader for this unit includes complex text and prepares students in grade 5 for the increased vocabulary and syntax demands aligned text will present in later grades. This reader focuses on the Maya, Aztec, and Inca civilizations. Students will read about each civilization's geographic location, way of life, developments, and downfall. The chapters in this reader will keep students engaged, especially when reading Chapter 3, Hidden Secrets in the Rainforest, Chapter 4, Myths of the Maya, and Chapter 6, Emperors, Gods, and Foreign Invaders, among others. The reader also includes 2 selections that may be used for enrichment. Please use these selections at your discretion, considering students' needs and the time available in your school day. In the writing lesson, students will review the stages of the writing process and engage in an extended writing project. In this unit, students will use information from the reader to compare and contrast the Maya, Aztec, and Inca civilizations and create an informative or explanatory project called the Codex Project, which encompasses all 3 civilizations. Here you see the Codex Project rubric provided for you in the Teacher Resources section of the Teacher Guide and also in the Student Activity Book. During the first few lessons, students will plan and draft a paragraph about the Maya and practice paraphrasing and note-taking, like you see here in Lesson 5. Next, students will plan and draft a paragraph about the Aztec, as you see in Lesson 8. They will also incorporate images into the project that are related to their topic. Students will practice using linking words and phrases to compare the Maya and the Aztec. Finally, students will plan and draft a paragraph about the Inca starting in Lesson 10. Students will also have an opportunity to edit their writing in all 3 paragraphs. Students will then integrate their writing and images to complete their Codex project. During all classroom writing tasks, please encourage students to generate logical, defensible spellings based on code knowledge rather than guessing. Students should refer to the individual code chart located in the Student Resources in the Activity Book, which lists spelling for each sound in the English language in order from most frequently used spelling to least frequently used spelling. Earlier grades in the CKLA program include 5 steps in the writing process: planning, drafting, revising, editing, and publishing. Beginning in grade 4, the CKLA writing process expands to include the following components: planning, drafting, sharing, evaluating, revising, and editing, and the optional component of publishing. In grades 4 and 5, the writing process is no longer conceptualized as a series of scaffolded, linear steps, an important change from the grade 3 writing process. Rather, students move among components of the writing process in a flexible manner, similar to the process mature and experienced writers follow naturally. Now it's your turn. Name 2 to 3 key takeaways you want your students to have by the end of this unit. Pause this recording now to jot down your thoughts or discuss with your colleagues. Content within CKLA is ordered so that new units build upon the content and vocabulary in previous units, both within and across grade levels. The result is that students develop vast background knowledge of literature, science, social studies, and the arts. Let's take a look at how the Early American Civilizations unit connects to others within 5th grade and in future grades. As students experience CKLA over the years, they will gain pertinent background knowledge for the Early American Civilizations unit. For students who have not experienced CKLA, introductory knowledge is presented in the Core Connections lesson. The knowledge and vocabulary gained from the unit will prepare students to read other complex texts later in grade 5, especially in Adventures of Don Quixote and the Native Americans unit, and also set them up for success for reading in middle school and later years. Now let's make some connections to the unit assessment. The unit assessment is split into 2 parts, both to be completed on the same day. The first part is the spelling assessment. Students will use activity book page 15.1 to spell the words as you read them aloud. There are explicit directions on how to administer this assessment, including the words and sentences to read aloud, starting on page 315 of your teacher guide. For your convenience, there is also a spelling analysis chart provided for you on page 319 of your teacher guide. The second part of the assessment is to be done independently. Students will read 2 selections and answer questions about each. For your information, the reading comprehension section of the unit assessment uses text adapted from the book Inca Land, Explorations of the Highlands of Peru by Hiram Bingham, published in 1922. The text features core content and domain vocabulary from the Early American Civilizations unit that students can draw on in service of comprehending the text. More information about the assessment, such as explicit administration instructions, answer key, and unit assessment analysis, are available in the teacher guide starting on page 316. Students will then answer grammar and morphology questions like you see here on activity book page 15.2, evaluating the skills they have practiced in this unit. For your convenience, an answer key is provided for you in the teacher guide on page 322. There is an optional fluency assessment included in the unit assessment. We do recommend you administer the fluency assessment as it will provide helpful information on your students. You will work with students one-on-one as they read a passage aloud to you while you record notes. Guidelines for scoring, 5th grade norms, and other information are provided for you in the teacher guide starting on page 323 to help you analyze the results. Let's move on to formative assessments found throughout the unit. Throughout the unit, students will engage in a variety of learning experiences that will prepare them to successfully master the primary focus objectives of each lesson. As you may recall from your initial training, the easiest way to identify the formative assessments of the lesson is to refer to the lesson overview. You see the Lesson 4 overview here. The primary focus objectives and formative assessments will be identified on this page. Here you may see exit passes, journal entries, activity book pages, etc. Here you see activity book page 4.3 on sentences that align to the language and writing focus objectives of this lesson. Later in Lesson 8, students engage in this word work activity with the word trade. As you see here, the teacher and student will work through this 5-minute activity where students will hear the word and vary in context, say the word, provide examples of the word, practice using the word in a sentence, identify its part of speech, and complete a multiple meaning word activity. Quick check for understandings to evaluate classroom performance as a whole are also designated in various lessons. These are located within the body of the lesson. In Lesson 11, the teacher asks students to identify action words and linking verbs in a sentence. Based on students' responses, the teacher will then test whether a verb is a linking verb or an action verb by replacing it with a to be verb. Careful attention to these check for understandings collected on a daily basis will enable you to quickly determine which students may benefit from reteaching and/or more practice in particular skills. Now it's your turn. Name at least one thing your students will need to know or be able to do in order to be successful on the end of unit assessment. Pause this recording now to jot down your thoughts or discuss with your colleagues. We hope that this learning module was useful as you prepare to teach Unit 2, Early American Civilizations. Of course, this is only the beginning. We also strongly recommend that you closely read the text within your unit as a key part of your intellectual preparation. If you would like more guidance on getting to know texts deeply before you teach them, check out the Text Talk protocol in your participant notebook appendix. And if you would like to access our templates for unit or lesson level planning, those are also found as links in the appendix of your participant notebook. Now it's your turn. What will you prioritize as you continue to plan for this upcoming unit of instruction? For the last time, pause this recording now to jot down your thoughts or discuss with your colleagues. Thank you for engaging in this module today. We hope you were able to accomplish these objectives during our time together. We wish you well in your upcoming instruction with students.